Welcome back, and we're moving into our second segment for today as we find out about this year's Belize International Film Festival. And we have with us on set Festival Director and the Film and Media Arts Unit from Niche, Suzette Zaiden, and we have Troy Tingling, who is the media representative for the Film and Media Unit. Good morning and welcome.
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning and welcome. You know
Suzette, is it that time already that we are having the film festival?
It's almost that time.
I know.
We're actually launching in September. The festival is actually in November.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're about 2 months away from
Yeah.
it. But it's a time that we wanted to start reminding people that the festival is coming up.
Okay.
And we also had a really fantastic film called Hogan from Belizean directors in the diaspora, Ja and Farron Smith. And they wanted to do, when they set out to do this film, Hogan, it's a film about a boxer, a street boxer. They wanted to do something patriotic. So they made a boxing film because they knew that a lot of people in Belize are boxing fans. And they wanted to make an analogy to the Belize-Guatemala situation. So they had a Belizean fighter fight the Guatemalan. So this was their attempt at, being patriotic and their take on the situation, putting it in a different context.
Yes.
You know, that's huge. Just for the mere fact that the film, of course, portrays patriotism. That's one of the biggest things for the country. The Belize International Film Festival, to eventually start with the recognition phase 2 months in, 2 months before, before the entire thing gets on the way. That's another kudos there. But let's get back to the Belize International Film Festival, because film, not a lot of people are into it. Then again, you've got masses. You've got some people who, you know what, this is something that I want to get into. This is something that I want to do. Talk to us about the Belize International Film Festival.
Well, the Belize International Film Festival has looks at films, feature-length films, as well as short films, in both the narrative and the documentary form. We also look at music videos, and that's actually what Troy does. Troy works with all the music video submissions. Music video is a special category in that it only accepts music videos from Belize. Belize artists, and it has to be shot in Belize.
In Belize, yeah.
So those are the two criteria. So as a musician himself, he could tell you a lot more how that's going.
Yeah.
Because I feel that we wanted to put in for several reasons, because music is such an important part of the audiovisual field, and because it's a short form of film.
And, I think that is such an important point, because I know earlier, in the early years of the film festival, this wasn't a category, but this is where we see quite a bit of creativity coming up from producers in Belize. These artists and their production teams spend an immense amount of time doing a lot of the work that someone would do to produce a film. And we've seen the category grow, and people have become very competitive. So Troy, tell us about your reach out to the artists at this point about submitting in the category.
Well, I think that is like one of the most creative part of the whole process, interacting with the artists. Being that I do music myself is what really makes it sort of easy, because I have a relationship built already with most of these artists, So, but I like the storyline behind the whole thing, how it came up. Me and Suzette spoke when I first met her the first time, and I found out about the festival. And it was just movies indeed. So when we spoke, and I was like, hey, why don't we merge movies and music?
Yes.
You know, as a Belizean artist, I saw music being effective. Belizeans don't follow movies, we follow music.
We follow music a lot.
So I said like, hey, if we have Belizean artists on, representing on the show as well, Belizean people will come out to support their artists, and the films can get support as well, right? So, and for an amount of years now, it has been successful in terms of turnout, So the festival is very supportive when it comes to Belizean artists. I've seen growth in the work that we have been doing in terms of music production also.
Yeah.
Very major improvement, like seriously. Artists are bringing out music videos like movies right now.
Yes.
Like the storyline is the most important part of that is the storyline.
Yeah.
Yeah, through Suzette, I've gained the opportunity to go to Cuba the other day.
Oh, wow.
You know, and that was to enhance my views on doing music videos and stuff like that, because it was a cinema school.
Okay.
Right, La Escuela de Cine. And I did a documentary course, so I had more insight on what was really needed to deliver music videos or anything pertaining to that type of project, you know. So it was really intense in terms of doing the work, but it paid off because it gave me more insight in choosing the videos that I wanted to go into the festival as well.
Wow. And what was it like for you? Because firstly, going back to music videos, let's face the fact that Belizeans are going above and beyond. You know, when it comes to producing music videos, there's stories being told in these music videos. Old selections are actually coming back in the form of music videos. So what is that like for you? The merger, one, how important is that for us? And then two, where do we push it, especially when it comes to the music video aspect? Because movies are good, but a different way to push this country or to eventually market this country is through our field when it comes to portraying how we live life through music.
Very interesting question, man. Opportunities come through the festival, especially for artists that enters into the music video section. We have a lot of producers and directors that come in from the festival that they invite as well, that partake in this festival to be judges and so on, and to see the work that Belize does through music and to have a visual concept of what we are trying to do on a cultural, you know, diaspora. These people actually support it. And for example, we even have some artists that are being asked for, you know, soundtracks to be, you know, used for major movies. So this is opportunities gained to these artists through the festival also. You can't meet the directors, you can't meet the producers if we don't really have an outlet. So the festival is an outlet for that, for these artists, you know. So I try to encourage them more to get into it for that purpose as well, you know.
And I'd like to segue into that because the movie Hogan is Farron and Ja. They are Belizean group that lives in LA, and they have True Belizean channel. So they also do a lot of music videos for artists, for local artists as well. And they've used quite a bit of local artists as music in the soundtrack of Hogan as well. I know for certain we have Ernestine, Melody Man.
Mr. Cleve is on it as well. Yeah, we have Farron Smith Jr.
Music from India is on it as well.
G-Kid. I don't know if you all remember G-Kid.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, and some classic Belizean artists. We have like major soundtracks from these guys on the film as well. Even the previous movie States, we have soundtracks from Young C and those guys on that movie. So and it was done in America.
Right, they're very connected with the music, so they work very hard on putting them both
and
together.
We know that they, as you clearly pointed out, this is not their first production. They work in producing films, and they still keep or work to keep the authenticity of the Belizean experience included, even though they're shooting in the United States.
Right.
Suzette, let's go back to the official launch. Of course, this is the period where you're calling for applications, especially, right?
Well, it's closed now.
Okay.
We're hoping, actually, no, we're hoping tomorrow we'll make the announcement of which films will
Have
be
been
cut.
selected, yeah.
Which ones are the official selection. We have quite a few people on pins and needles waiting to see if they're in, and we ourselves are trying to get that. So we're hoping by doing the launch 2 months in advance that we'll be able to actually have enough time to promote the films properly. Because as you know, a film festival doesn't really put out popular films. That's for more the cinemas and that distribution network. So most audiences will be watching films that have not had the opportunity to get the PR that a Disney film has had. So it's and you know, some of us are a bit hesitant to go out and say, I don't know what go see a film that they've never heard or seen a trailer on regular TV about. So we're trying to use that time to actually promote it.
Now, where have you seen new interest coming from? It is an international film festival, and we've seen movies from Latin America. We've seen it from all over. But let's talk about where you're seeing new interest and where you continue to see interest from.
Actually, the Belize International Film Festival is in the middle of the Latin American, Central American cinema. as well as Caribbean cinema. And these are both two kind of young cinema movements. Because the Central America cinema is itself finding itself not as recognized within the whole Latin American cinema. So we're kind of at our crux, and there are festivals popping up in the Central America and in the Caribbean. So each trying to promote the region. And we're moving forward on both regards. Central America has a lot more population, so they have a lot more box office and a lot more possibilities. And a lot more training, a lot more film schools than the Caribbean region per se. So what we try to do is, even though it's an international film festival, we do try to select films from these regions as a priority. To remind us who's watching the films that this is our region, this is our reality. What's happening next door could very well be happening right here. And or you know, it's interesting to see the similarities and any differences at the same time. So what's new is more in the fact that we've started to reach out to the international press. And we're starting to get more coverage. It's something that we've been wanting to do. And in fact, this year, a direction I'm actually going in is actually selecting maybe less films, so that we have more time to actually, rather than, we've been noticing over the years that maybe the Belize public cannot handle a whole bunch of films all in one row. Maybe 2 or 3 people actually can do that right now, but we're going to pull back a little bit and slow down on the amount coming at you, so you can actually have time to fully enjoy and do proper discussions, because that's the point of a festival. Not just showing the films, and we're trying to train the audiences, don't run when the credits come up, because there's going to be a question and answer session, and you can actually ask questions.
How often do you get to talk directly to the director or producer of a movie, or someone involved in the production of it? And that is the great part about the festival. You know, we spoke about how there's so much interest in the music video category. But as you said, they're the feature films and also the shorts. Where are you seeing more interest at this point?
Oh, we get a lot of shorts.
We
get a lot of shorts. In fact, for us, the music video is almost kind of like a short. In discussion with our advisors, because we do have advisors. I have an international advisory committee, and I remember when the music video came up, and I was a bit resistant because I'm more of a pure film person, and the advisor said, "Stop fighting it, just go with it. If that's what's being made in Belize, that's what you have to showcase." So work with your reality, and that's it. So we looked at it, and we're probably going to be also trying to push short films, because you know, a feature film has a lot more work in it than a short film, and a lot more budget. And in fact, you know, and there's lots of talented Belizeans around with not as much time to actually put together a proper feature film project, but they could pull together a short film. Our short film category is 15 minutes and under. So, you know, and we're starting to see, actually I'm getting more films from the Belizean diaspora right now. They've reached out. They're the ones who are starting to realize, hey, there's somewhere I could come showcase my work to the homeland. and that's where we're seeing a lot of interest. But it's stimulating the ones here.
And I was going to ask, we know there are a couple groups who work in Belize. Have we seen more persons showing interest in developing their own shorts or featured?
It's still not as much, but we're happy that the diaspora is starting to utilize the medium. Because they're coming with training. They're the ones who've gone to the film schools. They're the ones who are out there knowing how the business works, what they have to do, and when they come and they're happy to come, they're able to share that knowledge, and in fact link up. The networking starts, and then they start doing work together. So we're going to see that.
You know, and I think that this is definitely the medium for them to make that push. You mentioned previously as to you know, the fact that you like to cut down on some stuff because of, you know, how it goes. But my thing, and I was here sitting here thinking, where was the film festival? Because Sue, you've been in this for a while now.
It's the 12th edition.
There you go. So you would know. But where were we? Where are we now? And where do we hope to go?
Well, where were we? I remember you guys used to ask me what was a film festival. And we didn't have the music videos at the time. We're just mostly people standing in front of a mic singing. And that was about it. There wasn't much productions. In fact, I'm still not getting much response from the talented Belizeans here. I'm starting to think that it's because it's a economical reason and they have to only do commission work. And we're trying to put back the spark of creativity in them so that they get the desire to, oh my gosh, I can do that. I could just do that. So because we know they're out there, we see it every day in the commercials that are shown, but they're not submitting to the festival. So they're gonna get left behind if they don't keep trying, because the press is starting to pick it up. We just had La Isla Bonita, and I had to do it, a telenovela and a short film by Michael Flores and Horacio Guerrero, and that went off to Carifesta. It's going out. People are starting to know, they're able to now participate in the conversation that I was always a part of, the whole Caribbean cinema. So once you have, your film is your ticket to the bigger, wider mainstream audience. The embassies are crying for Belizean product to showcase when they're in the different countries, and we haven't been able, we're starting to be able to now send things. These are the Belizean films and products. But I'll be honest with you, we would not be here without some faithful sponsors. We are grateful for Channel 5 for always being there for us. We're back. For Belize Bank for always supporting us, for Atlantic Bank, Belle Cuisines and Cast, the people who buy ticket packages, Publix, Mercado. These are the ones who buy the big bulk packages and are trying to give away them. So if you want to come to the festival, we have some chances for you to get some free tickets through sponsored packages. So we, Brothers Habet is involved. You know, some of the other filmmakers, they also contribute their time, the different production houses. So we get a lot of support. We're able to move forward knowing that we have a few people in our corner each year to start off with.
Let me ask you, you said something so important and it stuck with me, but we see some really great production in this country, in advertisements and in some other paid work. What would you say to these persons who are very creative, who are able to come up with quality products, why they should take the additional step to produce a short or a featured film just for the sake of it? Because I think without somebody requesting, we don't see people taking on that additional step. What would you say to them?
I would say well, you're doing it for yourself, for your own, to push your career forward. Perhaps they're not feeling the need to push their career forward, but it also pushes the country forward. We are such a new market. We're still fresh. You can still make your mark. The Caribbean cinema is still trying to find its identity. There's some magical realism coming out that's kind of not as much as, you know, where some people are following the action, a lot of action movies. There's some that more introspective, but at the same time, we also see that the Caribbean tends to like documentaries, which is interesting by itself. I'm sure there's a space, but you just have to start finding yourself. It's, you know, people want to, when work is commissioned, some of the work comes out, some of the creativity, you don't have to be as creative as you could be because somebody already gave you the germ of an idea. I don't know if we have to start making competitions where there's a team. Do they need they need somebody to give them a team to get started? You know, sometimes that's the stimulus. Not all of us can just sit there and say, wow, look at that ladder. Let's start let's make a story about that ladder. I've seen people do that. I've seen people do that. And they start creating this whole story about how this old man came and set the ladder there and he had 2 kids at home. You know, I've seen people do that. I can't do that.
No, but it gives them an opportunity to allow their creativity to flourish. And that is an important skill for them as well. Let's get the details. So the media launch takes place
tomorrow night at the Bliss at 8 o'clock.
And the featured film?
The featured film is Hogan.
Yes.
And it's, you want to say anything else?
Well, we could basically give them a description of the film, which is like, Hogan is basically a story of an underdog bare knuckle fighter, you know, who basically, through territorial aspects, you know, like one day he gets a shot at the title in a professional match, but fortunately, fortunately it's a Guatemalan, which makes it very interesting. You know, which makes the fight very interesting because of our territorial history.
Yeah.
Right? So I like the way that Ja incorporated this, and he also sent in, like, he wrote to me and he told me something he wanted for me to say. Right? Like, he even had his side of why he did the film, how he did it, you know, and he said that Hogan is his way of addressing the Belize-Guatemalan conflict. It is my way of reminding Belizeans that though we are small, we are mighty champions at heart, and we can achieve anything if we are willing to fight for it with our hearts and our minds.
Nice.
So that was his, you know, mindset going towards making the movie.
He also wanted to address different aspects. The point that you're behind bars, like in this film, he's actually barred behind bars.
Yeah, he was born
And
behind
so
bars.
he's really has an underdog. He's really has all the obstacles in front of him
Yeah.
from birth. So he wanted to point that out. He wanted to bring up the issue of domestic violence, all these things that are out there,
Yeah.
but that you have to face and overcome. So he put a lot of stuff. He also tried to pull a lot of faces.
Yeah.
and so they're also, the producer side is also looking at the star power that they can attract. So
Definitely.
they're getting there. They're actually, I believe they might be on Amazon.
Yeah, I believe it's already up
They're
there.
getting their marketing going. So with each successive film, they're becoming more and more mainstream.
And we get to see it at the launch itself on Friday,
Right.
right?
Yeah, for
Tomorrow
Is there a
night.
cost to the event if people want to go?
Right. The film is $10. That's usually the cost.
Okay.
So it's really about the film, and we're making the announcement of what other films are going to come up.
All right.
But we have a Facebook promo going on right now.
Okay.
So if you like our page, we have a post on the Belize International Film Festival. You like our page and you share the post, you can win a free ticket. So there's at least 50 tickets that can be
Wow.
won that way. And tomorrow at a unspecified time, you got to keep watching the Facebook page, Belize International Film Festival. We will be offering discount tickets for $5.
Okay.
So as long as you order it online.
For
Yeah.
students also with IDs that goes to school with an ID, they can get their tickets for $5.
And senior citizens with their
Gold-
golden card.
Golden
So you can come. So there are all sorts of opportunities that we.
Definitely.
And this is all in promotion of the Belize International Film Festival that will be in November, where we'll see the full series of selected films and the
Which we're very
announcement of the
excited
winners, which is the key part of the festival itself, as well as the trainings that come along with it.
Right.
So this event, the launch itself, takes place on Friday, and it starts at
8 o'clock.
8 p.m.
Right.
All right, at the Bliss.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
right. Well, thank you for stopping in and giving us the details. We're sure as the festival draws closer, we'll be seeing you guys more. And best of luck. Now, remember, if you want your tickets to be able to see Hogan, you have to find Belize International Film Festival on Facebook, like their page, share their promo, and you may win a free ticket to the movie tomorrow night, right?
Right.
Thank you, guys. We're going to go ahead and take a break now, and when we come back, we'll be joined by representatives of Scotiabank and Caribbean Motors, so stay tuned.